Hey, what's up, YouTube? Edwin the Comic Jabroni coming at you with a new comic book pickups video. Yesterday was Comic Book Wednesday, new comic book day. It was the 29th of August. And I went by my local comic shop, Heroes and Fantasies, down the street from my house. And I picked up a few books. There's an independent book, a couple DC, and mostly Marvel this week, surprisingly. It was the 5th week of the month, and a lot of us comic lovers, we know that the 5th week is usually a week where companies won't send their best stuff. You get a lot of annuals on those weeks. This week I'm also going to share with you, what's coming out next week, what I'm looking forward to, and a couple spec books. I picked up 2 spec books that I want to show you guys and give you the chance to get out to your local comic shop to go pick up. So this week we're going to start off with the independents. I only grabbed one. This is an IDW Oni Press, kind of both of them together. Dropped this one. This is that Rick and Morty versus Dungeons and Dragons #1. This is the A cover. Read through a little bit of it. Not really my thing. I like Rick and Morty. I watch Rick and Morty on the TV, but it's not really a comic that I subscribe to. And like I've been doing with the last 2 videos, I'm gonna kind of give you the reviews and ratings online of what I've seen online. And again, that website is comicbookroundup.com. So for Rick and Morty, there was only the online reviewers, and they gave it an 8.9. So it's pretty good. There wasn't any user reviewers, but an 8.9, it's pretty good. And I figure Rick and Morty, these #1 issues, these people go out there and they buy these, and they'll buy them online, and there's money to be made in these Rick and Morty issues. But again, it's not my thing, but definitely had to go out and grab one. There was like 3 or 4 different covers. I just grabbed the cover A. So that's it for IDW. Let's move on to DC. First DC one I grabbed, and there was only 2 of them this week. This is a Nightwing Annual #1. This is the A cover. This is actually a spec book on my part because there is a first appearance of this villain Vire in here. Online, this didn't do so well. It's got a 6.8 from online reviewers, and from the fan base it got a 7.1. I wasn't really into it. I didn't like the artwork. I'm thinking it's even less than a 7.1. I'm gonna go with a 6.5, maybe a 6.0. The story is more about how the news has turned, and you see this in the world now, where the news kind of dictates where our allegiance is and what happens with what we think. So that's kind of going into this with the new villain, this Vire. You never know. I picked one up, just the A cover. The second DC book I grabbed, which a lot of people are going to be grabbing this week, was this Joker Daffy Duck #1. This is the B cover. There were only 2 covers for it. This is the cover that I liked because it actually showed, yes, I know it's a comic book, I know it's cartoons, but this is more of the old school cartoonish way of drawing Daffy Duck and even Joker. This story, I definitely dug it. I liked it. It got a 7.2 and a 6.5 from the fans, but I think it was way better than that. The story was funny. How the Daffy Duck, he goes to Gotham to complain to Acme about something that he bought, and he ends up running into the Joker at the Acme building, and he becomes one of his henchmen, and he ends up becoming one of his lead henchmen. So I like the story. It's got some Batman in there. So I even think a 7.2 is low. I would go 8.0. There are 2 stories in here. I read the first one, liked it. Second one was okay, but definitely go out and grab this. Last year, when they did this Looney Tunes DC conglomeration together, the Batman Elmer Fudd, that one went nuts, and I think you can still go online, and it's still a $10-15 book. I think the B cover was the one that everybody wanted. So I went out, I grabbed the B cover on this Joker Daffy Duck. So that's it this week from DC. I know I'm usually a big DC guy, but there just wasn't that much DC out. There was no Batman books, no Justice League or anything like that. So that's all I grabbed. Everything else is going to be all Marvel. First book I'm going to show off, this Extermination #2. That's a Mark Brooks cover. This is just the A cover. I like this story. I'm a big X-Men fan, and the story goes with there's a younger spoiler alert. The younger Cable comes back in time to, I guess, get rid of the time displaced mutants, which are the younger X-Men, which they've been around since I think like 2011 or so. Online, this got an 8.0 from online reviews, and from the users and fans, it got an 8.2. So I'm right there. It's 8.0, 8.2, 8.5. I dig it. I like the artwork inside. I love this cover. These Mark Brooks covers. He's been killing it with these covers. Definitely like it. I'm gonna keep going on and grabbing the rest of these exterminations. See what they're gonna do. If they really are gonna get rid of these time displaced mutants. What they're gonna do with Old Man Logan, because he's technically a time displaced mutant. I know they're bringing Wolverine, the original Wolverine, back. So they're gonna be getting rid of Old Man Logan. Next book I picked up, Edge of Spider-Geddon #2. This is the B cover. They're rolling right along into this Spider-Geddon storyline, and just like they did with Spider-Verse, they're doing these Edge of. So I think there's going to be 4 of them before the Spider-Geddon story starts. This one follows this Penny Parker, who is the only person in the world that can drive this spider. You know, it's a mechanized Spider-Man, I guess you could say. But if I were you, and there is an A cover, I need to go out and get the A cover, because this is a really key spec book, I believe. In this book, there's a first appearance of the mechanized Venom, right? So she has the mechanized Spider-Man, and now there is a mechanized Venom. Online, this got a 7.9 on that comic book roundup, and the users and the fans thought a 7.8. The biggest complaint was that it kind of moved through the story too fast, especially at the end when there was a fight scene, and Venom kind of takes that mechanized Venom takes over. It just kind of rolled too quick. So I'm hoping they really touch on that later on during Spider-Geddon. They need to bring this Penny Parker back. I know she didn't do much after Spider-Verse, but I dig this issue. Go out to your local comic shop, go get this issue. Last time Edge of Spider-Verse #2 was that first appearance of Gwen Stacy, or Spider-Gwen, and it blew up. And I can see the same thing happening with this Edge of Spider-Geddon #2. There were a couple Venom books this week. I'm going to go over this first one that I wasn't too much of a fan of. This is Venom First Host #1. That is the B cover. There were a few covers on this. I think there was 4 or 5 covers. My local comic shop had pulled this one for me, you know, and I liked it. The cover's cool. Story, not so much. There is a first appearance in here of the original, the guy that had the symbiote, the Venom symbiote, before Spider-Man did. So this is kind of a backstory to how that symbiote got to that planet where Spider-Man actually got it from the spaceship. If you remember from Secret Wars, Spider-Man got the Venom symbiote, or the symbiote. We didn't call it Venom symbiote. It was just a symbiote. He got it off that planet that we were on Secret Wars, and that's how he got the black suit. Well, this is the first appearance of the Kree soldier that had it before Spider-Man, and how it actually got to that planet. So I kind of dug that. Other than that, I really wasn't a fan of the story. And online, the online reviewers gave it a 6.7, and users and the fans gave it a 9.0. But I think that was only on one person reviewed it at the time that I had read these reviews, and he gave it a 9.0. I'm not there. I was maybe a 7. I do like the backstory on the Venom symbiote, because how did it get to that planet on Secret Wars? I don't know if they'd ever given that out. But the Venom book that I really dug this week, and if I were you, I would go out and grab a copy of this. This is Web of Venom. This is the B cover. There was an A cover. I don't believe there was any more. I think there was just an A and a B cover. Online, this got an 8.2 from the online reviewers and a 9.2 from fans. And I'm definitely there. I'm 9.5. Love the story. Here's another spoiler for you guys. There's a Wolverine or a Logan appearance in this book. The continuity's a little off, because in this book, guys, if you haven't read this and you want to read it before this, skip ahead. But in this book, you find out that Logan actually got a symbiote during Vietnam, because Shield gets some of this symbiote, and they start giving it out. They do experiments on it. They find out that they can weaponize it, and they give it to like a few of their platoons, few of their squads, and they send them out to Vietnam, and they go crazy. The symbiotes go crazy. So you end up finding out that they send Logan out to try to recover these soldiers, because they can't let the Vietnamese, the Viet Cong, get a hold of the symbiotes. So they send Logan out there, and things don't go well. Go get this book. It was an awesome book. I would give it a 9.5. Artwork's awesome. I dig this cover. I'm a huge history buff. I love war history. So reading anything that has to do with Vietnam and kind of a different take on it. Yes, I know it's a comic book, and yes, I know they're putting symbiotes into Vietnam, but it's just cool how they're using the history, real history, and weaving it into these comic books. I got one more Marvel book that came out this week. This is a reprint of Fantastic Four #1. It's the first appearance of the Fantastic Four. And what's cool about this, because this isn't a True Believers at all, this is an actual reprint of the original book. If you look at this cover and you look at the cover from the original one, they're almost exactly the same. The only differences are going to be this $3.99 up here, and then obviously the barcode down here. This is a true reprint of the original. Even the inside, when you're reading through it, where they're trying to sell you things, I can't think of the name right now. I don't know why. They're the exact same ones that they were in the original comic. So this is called I don't know if I'm saying it right, the Facsimile edition. I like that. I don't know if they're going to be doing it for any of the other ones, but I like that. At the end, there's actually a Stan Lee has written out like 2 pages. It's like a letter from Stan Lee on how he created and how he created the Fantastic Four and his thoughts on it. So dig that. Go pick this book up. $3.99 for the original. And if you've looked at how much the actual Fantastic Four #1 is going for, I can't afford it, so might as well get some copy of it so I can read it. So that's it that I've gotten for this week, guys. There wasn't much. Like I said, it was a 5th week, and we know how 5th weeks go. There's not much that gets put out. Want to get into what's coming out next week. There's quite a few books I'm looking at here. Let's start with Image, Dead Hand, #6. There's an A cover on that. I've been loving Dead Hand. I love that whole spies, Russia versus the U.S. I dig that. Moving on to Marvel, we got Immortal Hulk #5, the A cover. That's an Alex Ross cover. I like what they're doing with Hulk now, where he can't die, but it's kind of depressing him, because that's all he really ever wanted was people to leave him alone or just kill him off. He didn't want to be alive because he was a Hulk, and Hulk was doing bad things. But now he's immortal, so what's he gonna do? Another one is Thanos Legacy #1. There's quite a few covers coming out for this, but I'm looking at the A cover and the D cover. I think it's George Perez cover, and actually that's written by Donny Cates, who did the Venom. He's actually writing Venom now, and he wrote the Thanos, that end series with Cosmic Ghost Rider. And I know Donny Cates just came out on his Twitter, on his Instagram, and was telling some people that actually already have the book. I guess some books got sent out to people, and he was saying, please don't spoil it, that there's something big coming up in this Thanos Legacy. Don't spoil it for everybody. So I'm definitely going to be out there grabbing at least 2 or 3 copies of that book. And there's a True Believers coming out next week. There's 3 of them, but I'm only grabbing one. It's the Daredevil #1. That's the first appearance of Daredevil. Not a book that I have in my collection. Kind of a pricey book, so I might as well grab a reprint of it when I can. And these True Believers are only $1, and some of them have been going for some money. I know that Amazing Fantasy 15, I think that's a $10 to $15 book now, and that was a $1 book when it came out. On the DC side of the world, we're looking at Adventures of Super Sons #2. There's only 1 cover on that. We're also looking at Batman 54. That's I'm going for the A cover. I looked at the B cover, not a fan. I don't like it. I'll put a picture of it up. Let me know what you guys think, but I'm going for the A. Deathstroke 35, the B cover. That's the Francisco Mattina cover. Always got to grab the Mattina covers. Plus, I love that story with Batman versus Deathstroke, to see who is the true father of Damian Wayne, which that really does sound like it's a Maury Povich episode. Looking at Justice League number 7, the B cover. It's a Jim Lee cover. This one's a Superman cover. I love the Justice League story has been awesome. I think they've been doing better on the Justice League than Marvel's been doing with the reboot of Avengers. And the Jim Lee covers, you just can't get enough of them. They look great. His artwork is awesome. And the last book for DC, I'm looking at the United States versus Murder Inc. Incorporated, the A cover. There's 2 covers on that. I'm looking at the A cover. I read kind of the synopsis of the story, how the mafia, it's an alternate world kind of deal where the mafia is kind of taken over half of the United States. So I dig that. So that's it for this week. I want to talk to you guys about some speculation books that I've seen. I know last week CBSI, they do a top 10 every week of what's been hot, what's been selling on eBay. And one of the books that they put out was this Nameless number 1. I grabbed my copy for $4. This book has been, I guess, optioned for a movie, and people are going nuts about it. It's been selling, at first it was selling for like $50 on eBay. It's kind of cooled down a little bit, but it's still in that $20 to $25 range. So I got lucky and was able to grab 2 copies of that Nameless for my, for my spec box, my personal collection. So hopefully this does pay out. There is a movie, and these books will be worth way more than $25. Worth way more than the $4 that I paid. And actually, since I have a subscription at Heroes and Fantasies, they give me 20% off of whatever they have it there. So I paid less than that. And the next book, this is the biggest book. This is the one that I picked up today, guys. This is the first time I've actually seen it. This book out. This is Vengeance, number 1 of 6. So this was a mini series that got put out, and this is just the A cover. There is a 1 in 25 cover that's going for way more, but this right here is the first appearance of America Chavez. So with everything that's been going on with Marvel, Disney, the movies, who they've been putting in movies, you gotta be looking, 4 or 5 years down the road. Who can they make a movie out of? Who can they put into these movies? And I definitely believe that America Chavez will be a character that they can throw into a movie. This is her first appearance. Right now you can get it for not too terribly expensive. I think you can go on eBay and get it for $20. During one of my breaks from class today, I went to a comic shop on the other side of town that I don't get to too often, and he had this up on the wall, and talked the guy down, and he sold it to me. It's a beautiful copy. It's got one little knock. So instead of a 9.8, it's probably a 9.6. But get him cheap now, because in 3 or 4 years, this could be, a $500 book. Just look what happened with Carol Danvers and her first appearance in Avenging Spider-Man. It's gone crazy. It's gone nuts. So anyways, guys, that's all I've got for you this week. Showed you what I picked up, show you what I'm picking up next week, and I showed you a couple spec books. Go out to your local comic shop, see if they have it. Try to snipe them from them. See if they're not hip to what's been selling online, and you can get them for cheap too. If this is your first time watching my videos, thank you for watching. If this is the 100th time you're watching my video, thank you for watching as well. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell so you get a notification whenever I'm dropping new videos. I'm dropping at least 1 a week, probably more than possibly 2 a week if I go out and I pick up some stuff that I didn't have. I want to show those off. Give me the like and write me a comment, guys. Let me know what you're picking up. Let me know what you're getting next week, and tell me what you think of these spec books. All right. Anyways, take it easy, guys. Peace.